Let me just see how everyone is looking. Yeah, it's looking cool. And yeah, all right. Okay, let me just sorry. Hello and welcome. We are having our episode 5 for Copilot with backbenchers, and today we will be having Daniel Brown with us, and Daniel will be sharing. I can like, can you? I'm not see. Can you guys like disable your audio? I think I can hear some echo from some of your. Yep.
That might have been me.
Yep. So, all right. Okay. So we are now live and we are doing good on every screen. So, yeah. So, Daniel is with me. So, what we are doing, like, what is the purpose of this stream? So, what we are doing a weekend stream regarding the Copilot, and we are discussing different features of the Copilot. And the last time we had some issues with our stream, Adnan was showing some stuff. So maybe Adnan, we need to do that stream again, like the word what you were showing at that time. So we have to do it again. But today we will welcome Daniel Brown. So Daniel was with us in March, I think, and Daniel is again with us. So hello and welcome, Daniel.
G'day, hello, and welcome everyone.
Yep, yep. All good, all good, all good, all good. And yeah, so Daniel, how is it going at your end, and how you are finding Copilot, and how interesting
hmm
it becomes to you?
Yeah, lots and lots of conversations around Copilot and Azure AI and AI in general happening constantly in South Australia. I'm having constant catch-ups, constant meetings, constant demos. It's really been interesting times, I would say. It's certainly not the end of times for Copilot. It's certainly just the beginning of times. We're not even halfway through the introduction to Copilot, in my opinion. And Copilot, I think, will continue to extend and evolve right throughout. I mean, not just in SA, but everywhere and anywhere that technology can get root, it will go there. It's been very,
So
very
how is it
interesting.
like the from the customer point of view? How they are like taking this Copilot, and what are their response?
The response has been twofold. One was very much, hey, let's do it, let's get on board. But last year, that 300 license point was limited. So that put the brakes on it very quickly. But it didn't alleviate any of the pressure. The pressure was still there. We want Copilot. We want Copilot for 365. We want it to do everything, and it's just the bee's knees. Like, it is the best thing. And a lot of people were excluded from Copilot during that time because of the 300 limit. I mean, that in essence mean just over $100,000 US investment that you would have to fork out. And if you're a small to medium business, no way, it's just not going to happen. So once that restriction was removed, that sort of floodgate is opened, and everyone has gone Copilot, Copilot, Copilot. But what actually is Copilot? How do we use it? What are the use cases? What does it have access to? Is a big one that people have been, whoa, 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 where's my permissions? Where's my data? And then also the other conversation is, well, now we are going to have to start being a data-driven company. We'll take our data governance a little bit more seriously, maybe look at classifications, purview, labels, sensitivity, at least clean up your files on SharePoint, OneDrive, all that sort of stuff. But that's sort of now sinking in, that reaction is sort of snapped back, that floodgate well opened, and Copilot was the bee's knees. It's now very much going, okay, what's the risks? How do we implement it? What's the use cases in from a business point of view?
Yep. Yep, that's really cool. I think because the co-pilot's touching like different section within the organization, like SharePoint and then Power Platform, then we have Word, then we have like PowerPoint presentation as well. So so many different areas. So even if you are targeting like
Hmm.
different
Hmm.
teams within an organization, so you have to prepare different demos. Like you have to, if there is a general public, so you would show them like MS Word, how the Copilot is working with the MS Word or the PowerPoint presentation. The last time Adnan showed us a very cool demo that you just tell them okay what you needs to be there in the presentation, and then it will generate like 20 slides of presentation with the images and everything, so you don't need to do, just need to put your name on it, that's it, and the presentation is almost prepared. So again, like a different, that's what I'm
Pretty much, yeah.
thinking, like how the, like the consulting company as you are running, like approaching to the business that okay, this is what Copilot can do. Yeah,
Yeah, very much so. I mean, and this is where people go, well, where do I get my
yep,
$500 worth of value? And for $30 from a month, I mean, I can save that just in time drafting emails, drafting documents, drafting presentations, replying to emails, coming up with ideas, maybe a strategy document, a sales presentation, or something, maybe that I don't even go ahead with. It's still, well, everything's frozen. Am I
yeah, I
still
can hear
here?
you, I
I
can
can.
hear you, I can hear you. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Well, it looks like, oh, there we go. I'm back. Um, yeah, I mean, it's very much a time saver, and for the cost of $30 a month, I
exactly.
mean, it's almost a no-brainer. That's pending you're in a position where you can actually get that value. Frontline workers, they can certainly still get the value. The office workers can get the value. It's just about the use cases. You know, how can the frontline workers save time? How can the office workers save time? How can the exec sales? How can your customers save time? Because Copilot can be then extended to, well, beyond the barrier of the tenancy to interact data, be your customers and bring them sort of in and into the fold, where you can now go outside of the boundary of a tenancy and into your website, into Facebook, into Power Automate, and then beyond. You know, there's really no limits of once you're there, you're now at the API level, and whoever's got an API, you're now consuming, can talk to, can interact with, and it's really cool. And it's only going to continue to improve in the sense that this integration, along with various other bits and pieces, will allow co-pilots beyond the LLM to say the small language model, the large language model, and to the action model too, which is more so make an appointment for this, do my booking, rather than just within sort of the office apps, rather than within the tenancy. It sort of can reach beyond those where it can start to consume AIs by itself, discover those, and go and compare different websites, get that information through different ways, and then start to action items. Create bookings, create user accounts, which Copilot's very cool at, but it's very much it's providing you information, it's generating information for you, hence generative AI. It's generating information for you, it's not actioning tasks for you. That's a very, very different model, very different AI. And I think that's where a little bit of confusion has set in terms of the boundaries, the expectations, the limitations, and the capabilities and the creative capabilities of AI, and certainly Copilot and the various co-pilots, shall we call them, because there's not just one co-pilot,
Yep.
there is a bucketful. So it's very, very interesting times, and I think that has led to a little bit of confusion of just what is Copilot, what's not Copilot, what's Azure AI, what's Copilot free, all that sort of stuff as well. It all sort of mixes in because the Copilot term is very broad, but I think overall, where the technology's headed is certainly a positive and benefit place.
Yep. Yep.
So then,
Yeah.
one thing, which Copilot products are widely used at your end, the customers are looking for? Is it M365 only, or some other Copilots also?
It's It's an interesting one, that question, because people would expect it's M365 Copilot. I mean, that's the one everyone's going for. That's the one that's going for, all the time. And yes, that is the leader. I mean, that's obviously, everyone's going, hey, I want Copilot to be able to read my emails. I want it to draft emails, reply to emails, create documents, summarize Teams meetings, transcribe team meetings, summarize Teams meetings. Those sort of things are all sort of the M365 Copilot sort of world. And that's great. But then they go, hey, I want it to generate me a proposal. That's not technically Copilot for Microsoft 365. It is if you do it within Word and you use that, but if you want to sort of fill out a questionnaire and do it, it's not Copilot for M365 in the traditional sense. I mean, stepping out one little step out is Copilot Studio Copilots. Well, they're not Copilot M365 Copilots. They're Copilot Studio Copilots, but you can integrate into M365 Copilot. So it's about those expectations, as I was saying earlier, where the expectation is it's Skynet. It can do whatever you want it to do. And it can, in the generative sense, it can generate those documents, generate the presentation, transcribe, do all of that stuff. But when you go, okay, now I want it to start to action things, like scan my proposal and suggest missing sections or sections that could be improved, that's great, but that's a lot of work, and it's probably not the best fit for Copilot M365. And I think the expectation was very much that it should be, where you can go in, and I think this is where Copilot SharePoint Premium will certainly have a big play. Is that's the next level of SharePoint, where I've got this generative AI sitting on top of SharePoint and my email and my OneDrive, and I can go not the SharePoint Premium content assembly path that I've seen last week with Pat and the small plug for the Microsoft 365 user review in Adelaide. But it will be very much hey, I want to generate this sort of document for this customer. Look at my existing documentation in this location, format it with using my branding. That's getting into where Copilot for M365 will eventually go. But at the moment, the best sort of stuff for that would be something like Azure AI, Power Automate, some templates. It's not Copilot per se, it's the supporting technology around it that can do it. You would integrate with Copilot, but it won't generate that document for you.
Yeah.
Likewise, I can't so much extend Copilot in the Office apps. I would like to do that as well, but that's another conversation that I've had. But the other one, sorry, just to sort of clarify and sort of this all back, is once I've sort of had that conversations, then we start talking about Azure AI. And some of the capabilities of Azure AI with the document intelligence, computer vision, face API, and that then sort of brings it out of the corporate world, very much like the office space, as in the business office space, not rather than the Office 365 space, where it's corporate versus operational. And I see very much Copilot is operational. Copilot is corporate, and Azure AI is then operational. So using AI to get a better metrics for your manufacturing, see the trends for your returns, bringing all those data points into an actual specific model or engine that's separate and very much task designed, like kind of what Microsoft have done with Copilot for security, Copilot for finance, Copilot for sales, and Copilot for service. While they are Copilot, they are very much a targeted and specialized AI or model at those certain areas where it's very, very targeted and very specialized. Where Copilot itself is the generalized AI.
And so far, which I have seen with the couple of customers, that they are mostly moving to the M365 Copilot. I hardly have seen people going for the business Copilots like Power App or even on the SharePoint Premium. But I have seen people also, customers also discussing about security copilots in the US market. So these are two copilots which I have seen that people are going at the starting, but that they will be jumping on to other copilot products with time when they get the awareness how those copilot will work. But so far, if we talk about the community, I have seen that the community is investing a lot on the custom copilot and how customize the copilots based on the organization needs, and also with the business copilots. I have then M365 copilot. So maybe with time, people companies start jumping on to the business copilots, in like on the Power Platform, Power Automate, SharePoint, and
Yep.
Teams. But I think that will take a little time for now. But
Yeah. Certainly, SharePoint Premium I seen as being held back a little bit in the market. It's not there yet. It's like from a brand perspective, it's not there. Microsoft aren't behind it in terms of the brand yet because it's still being built. You know, there's no denying that. It's not ready because it's being built, and that's fine. I would rather them take their time, especially with SharePoint Premium, to get that right, like they're doing with Copilot for Excel.
Yeah.
While that's still very much in preview, it's getting closer. But the reason behind that is because people come up with some wicked formulas over the years, and Copilot has probably freaked out at a whole bunch of them. But at the same time, I did a post along this a long time ago, probably a good 8 to 12 months ago. If you go back on my LinkedIn feed, it's a post about the fracturing of AI. So this is where I was mainly conveying the idea that it's very similar to the fracturing of the streaming services. Probably the most similar thing is where you have this great technology that has raised its head, and it's AI, it's generative AI, it's great. And now we're going to have everyone fracturing, creating specialization, and they're all isolated, they're not connected, which, by pure nature of people just developing their own product, it becomes this fractured AI where there may be different AIs better suited for your needs that you're unaware of. And it plays this whole game of how many AIs do I need to subscribe to, like Netflix, Amazon, Binge, and all these other different streaming services, Disney, HBO. Am I going to need a range of AIs for specific tasks? I think the answer we all know for that is yes. I can see that certainly happening in the short to midterm. Long term, I think the way AI is structured would have to change. So what I'm saying with that is it would be very much a triage situation. So you would have an AI that you would interact with, and then that would triage your prompt, your requests, your goals, your wishes, your wants, your dreams, your hopes and desires to one or more specialized AIs for that specific task, and then return those results to you. Because this fracturing of AIs is just going to lead to who's going to have the best AI, and there's going to be no clear leader. Do we want any clear leader? Do we want a Skynet? Those are sort of very big AI questions, but at the same time, having this fractured AI, and a big component from that is certainly the lawsuits of copyright and how much copyright information is ingested, what's public use. So, we're going to have a fracturing there as well. We're going to have fracturing with different governments having their own regulations. And then we're also going to have fracturing with companies having different policies. Like I seen one today was, does Copilot give you different results if you're nice to it? So you say please and thank you and be nice to it, that's fine. It'll probably give you nicer results. But if you're not so nice to it, it should still give you the same results, in my opinion. It shouldn't care how nice I am to it. It's a machine. It's not a person. It doesn't have a personality. I'm not saying it should do everything I say, but it shouldn't have that bias towards, oh, you need to be nice towards me. Otherwise, they'll give you the wrong information that sort of comes in. And then that's when we get into the conversation of misinformation from AI, and that can be very dangerous.
Yeah, that's a very detailed. Yeah, it's a very
That's a
detailed, and
very, very
it's kind of
deep topic,
very
that one.
informative as well. Like from where I'm working, and then the perspective which I got is quite different from what you are, briefing over here and sharing with us. And it's good, like if you see from the different angle and different set of eyes, and see like how the business is, trying to accommodate and trying to use it. The Copilot itself is quite it's quite different. Yeah, I think it's now time for some cool demos, Daniel, and hopefully like we will have something to learn and something to show.
Well, I thought I sort of took a little bit of a different direction. I do
No,
have
no,
some
no, no.
demos,
It's
don't get
it's,
me
it's
wrong,
quite
but
good. It's quite good. I think
it's
we have, yeah.
it's it's more so the larger one. Let me share my screen
Yep,
because
yep.
I do have a couple of slides, but I know you don't like the slides on this, but it's just more so to keep my thoughts ordered because, as you know, my thoughts can go
Yeah,
pretty
no, no,
wild
no, no. It's just I
sometimes.
think we have covered your thoughts before we are seeing your slides. So we have seen your like the good part of Daniel. Now the slides will come.
Is
I think
my
we have lost your
screen
webcam.
sharing?
We are not able to see your webcam.
Yep. I just needed to get my screen sharing. Sorry,
No worries. Take your time.
Skype. All right, it says I'm sharing. Am I coming through?
And we also
Yeah,
trying different tools for the communication.
yeah, exactly. That's right. We are trying different tools. So yeah, that's for sure.
So is it coming through the share?
Yeah, it is coming to the share, and
All right, cool,
but
excellent.
your webcam is not showing up. Like, not sure why it is.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
All right, we can. Yeah, we can. You can.
Let's let me load up here. Is that? I did share the entire screen. It's just doing it. Sorry. All right. So just wait for this. Yeah, this is Microsoft Copilot. So
Yep.
let me jump into my slide deck now that that's up. So nothing flash, slide deck, just some dot points. So a little bit of what I'll sort of jump in and cover. So introductions and announcements and a few bits and pieces. And then different Copilots, some different ways that I've been using Copilot. And I
Yep.
thought I'll jump into a little bit of AI with the Opal AI and Ancestry and AI. I've got some prompts and ways that we can do that. So just as another little quick one, we've got the Copilot user group next week. Kirsty is presenting. She's the author responsible for this lovely diagram
Yep.
that I'm sure that a whole heap of
I've
people are
seen.
seeing.
That's a very familiar face.
Yep.
Actually, we discussed this in our
Yeah, I
last
did
podcast.
see it as well. I thought, I better give a shout out to her as well. We've also got
In the
Microsoft
first,
Build happening. There's a quick one.
Yep.
The VS Code
yeah.
Challenge, which you certainly get free certificates as well. Or not with this one, I don't think, but some very cool AI stuff with Python and predicting meteorites and moon rocks and things with
I think
Python. So I thought
I
that was
think
very cool.
I think we should also do something at the build together
Yes.
on the VS
Yeah,
Code or
yes, I've
something.
got a watch party happening. So build kicks off at about 1 o'clock Adelaide time. So I thought, well, I'm going to be up anyway. let's open up Discord. Let's have a watch party.
1 in the morning or 1 in the
Yeah,
afternoon?
1 in the morning. So we'll do a watch party for build. So it'll be May the 22nd Australian time. So around 12:30, 1:30, depending on where you are.
My evening.
Sorry, Adnan?
I'm saying it would be my evening.
Yep. But it'd be good to do it because I mean we're all fans of it. So I thought why not?
Yeah.
And the other big event that's happening is the DW conference, which is the Digital Workspace conference. This used to be back in the day the SharePoint conference.
Yep.
I am also presenting a Copilot master or mastering Copilot with governance and risks and
Oh, fantastic.
stuff at this conference. So check it out.
So
Very
you will
cool.
be.
There's like
It's in the Sydney. So you are coming to Sydney?
correct. I'm coming up to Sydney.
Ah, cool.
I'll be presenting on the Thursday. Which is the 1st of August. There will also be a community booth as well in the vendor hall. So Debbie, who runs the event,
Yep.
has essentially donated a vendor booth to the user group community where we can have tech talks, breakouts, whiteboards in between sessions. So we're going to have that as well, and I'm presenting as well.
Yep.
So been busy.
Now it's good.
So some Copilot stuff. Let's get into it. Let me just have a quick drink.
Yep.
So different types of Copilots. So as we were saying briefly before, there is a whole bunch of different Copilots. Everyone loves Copilot Microsoft 365. That is the bee's knees one. But there's a whole other bunch of ones which we've sort of had a brief discussion about, which is the Copilots, Copilot Studio, and then you've got those as well, so actual Microsoft Copilot, which we'll have a little look at today as well, how I used it, and see how it all sort of comes together. So Copilot is the free version versus the pro version. So that's the free ones I like the least. I think it's those two really the sense for Copilot sort of GPT, and I'll use it to sort of work around some stuff that well, but also get that to generate images as well. So let's look at that where again. Yep. So Copilot, as everyone knows, a whole bunch of stuff. There's also Bing Create as well, though Bing Create, which is also Copilot. So it doesn't really matter. The image creator and Copilot are they're both powered by the same engine as well. And this is what you love to sort of what it was my ancestors. So to brief look at that, I created. Yep.
One thing, so how we can differentiate one Bing and one is the Copilot?
Yeah, so the one with the same is
Yeah.
at the moment. So sorry, I signed in, so we're not signing exactly the same Copilot. Copilot.microsoft.com and Bing Copilot, which was called is exactly the same Copilot engine back in 3 or 4. I forget which one in detail it's been because I think 2 is actually the as well. So in order to create my ancestor line, sort of something like this. So long story short, I'm going to go far as I can, create a representative family tree in terms of using a whole bunch of information feeds to create an ancestor. So just to bring it together, I've refined and tweaked this a time ago. Allow us to 3 generations, pretty light, but you get time to do it. Now we can also add in this from well. I've got the format output of it. So name, birthday, birthday, destination, short description, and photo context. This is the interesting part here because I've got the photo of them in AI. So we can then take this prompt, put it into Copilot, get Copilot to create this information, taking these several events and all the conditions, and then have Copilot then generate another one for us, in which it then creates an image or a photo of that person editing. We can click photo of yourself, we have there, this size, whatever, it doesn't matter. This is all just based on my own lineage, which is essentially Northern Europe, and put all the details in there, and let's see what it spits out. And we'll go to text, copy and paste, nothing flash. This is going off this data. So what that means is the data that's essentially using to generate its response, that the data that the response is grounded in. Is in essence search results for the most part in this one. Well, there's a that's done the image. Yeah, okay. So for some reason that's actually done image rather than text of it. That shouldn't have done that. But as you can see, a little bit sideways. It's created potential images of a family of this as well. I'm not sure why that is. But that's Copilot. Maybe because signed in. I see anything. Let me just do check. We'll go to my personal. Should give me that list not created photos. So to give over every explanations on some great images on a grid. Okay, so for some reason it's doing hope, but the problem is there for some reason to create the actual images. I want to images rather just give me text. We'll probably through that. Oh well, we'll have to work out the problem. It's created the images through this whole big factory of other authors. So these images were all created through the use of generating that information, that sort of family list, and then using the AI to create individual photos for. So not Flash, I mean, this is completely fake. It's common names at the time, but it's taking into account all the sort of little bits and pieces as well. So average lifespan, where they live, all things like that. So Copilot can be sort of some pretty creative things in terms of this is an sort of Copilot for 365, and this is just like Microsoft Copilot. Likewise, designer with the create as well. I mean, this is sort of the creating documents. The image form, or whatever you want as well. So very cool, and in my opinion, something that I've sort of played with and mucked around with and tweaked around with. And that's sort of easy. I mean, you get some that are still a bit wrong, still a bit weird, but for the most part, it's certainly improving over time. So that's sort of one thing I've been playing with Copilot. Yeah, where's that one? Pretty much in being able to create this representative information that taking the historical fact of the historical accounts, average lifespan, common names, all the different bits and pieces to create a story that is so creative, and then taking that to and make that create photos. So next be something like sort of course, but very cool. So that's one with the go. I'm sort of changing it up a little bit. This vision I've worked on, called AI, which I've sort of been working on for about 8 months. And this actually doesn't use Copilot itself, but it's using Azure AI service. So this is something that essentially will look for different rocks and identify if one's a gemstone, of opal, or not. So it's very much a blind. But this very much is used the AI service and computer services for that, and sort of to jump back. This is one of the interfaces for it, where we've got images training that I need to classify as for example that we've sort of taken photos and used it as training material. Here one has two little bits of opal that AI has actually detected. I just want to confirm that's all it is. Sounds good. Then we cut it off and go on and through, and we just do that bunch of scenarios, different lighting, in jewelry, rough scenarios of different types. And that essentially is using custom AI services to do over here. And start like that. You'll now see my wall looks right. But if we actually hold a few of these through it, you can now start to see model beating up rock, which is colour. The thinking on there is confident that the AI is that there's actually pots rock and there's lots of stuff. Showing so actually because it's yes to the volume. While I keep the kids quiet, we can see anything out. Let's move a little bit of a opal there. So this is some opal. Obviously a bit of computer petty. And that's who's now picking up. There you go. So 99% confident. What it's seeing is 87% confident. What it's seeing is 91% confident that it is actually my hand that's showing. So another way that Azure AI systems can be used, just to simply, change the way to write it now. That is actually on computer vision. It's not a huge AI model, but it's machine in the back end, computer vision, to improve and enhance what it sees, what it learns by its tag. But ultimately, it is dependent on very much what I can see and what I can do. The other component, what I'll do as well is I'll start that processing again, and you can just bear with me for one moment. Because the model is just lying here, because the model has been trained on various aspects of opal, what look different scenarios. If we turn the lights off and use torch, we can now see backlight the light, the opal really lights up. Or I should say, in this case, hot, which is opal, but it's opal. Really lights up. You still see that's all the Azure AI taking a photo every 3 seconds, processing it, and turning the photo back and highlight what it sees. This is a 60 million-year-old SIG tube. It's become a spotlight. It can pick up various degrees of light. Alright, so I just thought I'd show you that there are scenarios that it can actually pick up its own hotch. It doesn't always need good lighting because AI, the camera, is really our eyes. We can't just with the camera. There we go. Turn the lights back on. I'll turn that off. So my point with this is very much that I can show us a whole bunch of stuff that's not natively visible to the eye. Better camera resolution, more you can see. Certainly than by machine learning and the tech over the top of that to pick up bits and pieces that you cannot see. So think of mining, think of X-rays, where you can detect cancers or abnormalities in the scans. So the other little part that I'd also like to show is a lot of people may have already seen this, but I thought this was kind of cool. It's just a quick video of facial recognition software of the sentiment services. So set messages on how they stab and potentially put a boxer in the face and show what they're going through. But this is where AI might be able to show us more than that.
I think that
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. They've got, the gentleman playing with Santa expression. I mean, I don't know how this video is, of course, don't get me wrong, but it's a great little video, I thought, because it sort of highlights how I can start with a few pieces of things that, we can't see because we don't have the ability to see infrared or X-ray, ultraviolet, things that are beyond the capabilities of the human eye, where cameras can now see it and play. I think that's kind of cool, but it's kind of scary. Very cool. Just some points around. So all I've used their answers we pretty much covered. And that's pretty much what I've got planned for the evening. It's pretty quick to get around Copilot, around those Azure AI systems and appraisal. There's a quick little video I do have sort of after the little. No, actually, I have a little bit more time. One thing I would just like to point out is because designer. Well, where is it? I have. I didn't say it. Maybe this one. Yeah, so it's designer.microsoft.com. If you're in a more home, you'll be able to log in with hopefully bots.
I have a use case that can easily modify objects from the generated image designer. And
yeah, in the 3 side you actually have access to, which is a shame because it's such a cool. I think it's really good. Do a lot of the design. Yet again, it is AI, but it's not a Copilot per se. Do you know the back of this one, Anand or Shakir?
backend of the designer.
Yeah, he's actually back in. Like, I'm not sure.
I've read before, but I'm just thinking.
Yeah, it's fair enough. There's a lot of pilots around, but very cool. I mean, I'm going to start some content and go from there. What about yourself? Have you been Copilot and AI sort of being impactful? And let me start sharing.
Yep.
See a little bit of a left sway around AI and Copilot. I mean, Copilot is so wide and so deep; it can go, huge. And I mean, Copilot for 365 is great. Also, the creative aspects of Copilot, the wider Copilot, the Microsoft Copilot, rather than just Copilot for 365, I think has played a massive day-to-day change. I mean, tell me about yourselves, Anand and Shakir, going through LinkedIn. Have you been able to pick which ones have been created by Microsoft AI? Which images? And they've all got a certain feel.
I think they are quite getting mature day by day, which I have noticed. Like
Yep.
the very first time, it was very pixelated, very distorted
Yeah.
image as well. But now the image is coming so natural, and it just shows you so details in the picture itself is quite it's quite outstanding,
Yeah.
which I have noticed. Like before that, it wasn't that. It just looks like a kind of animated or kind of like created on the MS Paint.
Yep.
Now it showed like it's created on a Adobe Premiere Pro.
I've just noticed that. See the Copilot, Microsoft Copilot image creator. Let's just call it, bing.com/create/whatever interface we want to look for it. Whenever you ask it to create something, it always uses the same style. So I was playing with it to create some underground data center imagery today. Long story, but we'll cover that another time. An underground data center. But every time I asked it to generate it, it was the same style. I would say mix up the styles. It would still put the same position of the objects, the same lighting. It wasn't really getting the whole concept of give me 4 different options of styles. It was giving me one style, 4 options of that one style, not 4 different styles. But yet again, it's still juvenile, is my opinion, when I'm trying to explain it to customers. And it's very much the use case, marketing. What do you want to use it for? We want it to be all of our examples, a great one. So we can't use it for that because it's Microsoft with only one O. Image. It doesn't do that correctly, and so therefore, if you want to use it as a starting point, fine. But then it's going to have to go into your, photo editing software. Be cleaned up, made to look presentable of what you needed. So the whole worry of will AI be able to do everything for me is no, and will AI take no. But can it assist and aid in my job? Yes. Will it solve problems for me? Can it do some research tasks for me? Can it give me starting points at the same time? If I want to, a great one that I did was I've got a yabby farm. So yabbies are these little lobsters, freshwater lobsters. And, But back in the day, before I actually started that, I was asking and playing around with Copilot and ChatGPT to draft me a strategic plan. Give me the outline of it. Give me the feeding plan. Give me. And I mean, I grew up farming these things anyway as a hobby. You know, we had a dam, they lived in there. So I could sort of compare that and refine that knowledge. You know, it couldn't create the strategic plan of how often they should be fed. It can give me the generalities, but it's a starting point. It's a drafting point. It's getting over that mental block of where do I start? What are the important points? I also had another just on this. What are the important points to sort of help you? Is you can ask Copilot to quiz you about the problem you're having. If you have a problem and you can't see your way through it, let's say it's a business problem. How do I do X? What am I getting caught up on? Have Copilot ask you several questions about the situation to maybe give you clarity as well. So to give that removal, if you're too close to the problem, you can't see the solution. Well, Copilot can maybe ask you 10 questions that may be able to give you some clarity or a different perspective that you haven't considered because you were too close to the initial problem. I find a lot of people are going, oh, okay, I didn't realize it could do that. It's like, well, yeah, it's just giving you a quiz about your current problem. You're giving it the information. It's a quiz, questions and answers. You're then taking that information and then going forward. You're the human. You're deciding. You're acting, which people have been, sort of very taken back by, but also responded to positively that they can actually use it, for lack of a better word, as a bit of a therapist, because it can help you work out where exactly you're getting stuck, what the actual problem is, and maybe it can help you with the solution.
Agree. And I just want to add here on this that I was working with my son, and he's shown that he has a school project, and he generated that website and images with the help of ChatGPT and Bing images. I asked how you did it. Mentioned that I was asking ChatGPT, I need this code, this HTML markup, and ChatGPT generates that HTML markup. And then for images, he generated the images and then went into the designer. And from that designer, he modified the images as per his needs. And then how
Yeah,
at that time I come to know that we can modify the images generated by AI in the image and each object is variable. I was amazed, and this new generation, he's only 11 years, still learning. They're
yeah.
still
My
learning.
daughter did something similar. She opened my eyes to that. She generates the image and then goes into the image generator editor, which is also AI assisted, to essentially edit the image. You can click on the different components within the image and say, "Oh, delete that one. I don't want that component. Add a different plant box here, or add a light here." Or in the different generated image. But I think the other cool thing I think where this is going is think of gaming, but on the Netflix level, the streaming level, where you're not so much streaming the game to the end user, you're streaming the data and having an AI generate the game real time for you to watch and play. I think that's going to be very, very crazy because then all of a sudden, editing that on the fly, that's making movies, that's creating some really cool content. And these kids, they're just such, they're going to be naturally adapted to it.
Yeah, target tough time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the
Yeah, happy
kids.
with
I
you.
mean, moving